calling all history buffs and foodies. Today on Food and Wisdom, we're cracking open the history of canned food. This ingenious invention has its roots in the 18th century, sparked by a challenge from the mighty Napoleon Bonaparte himself. In 1791, France was a nation in turmoil. Economic woes and military battles were both raging, and soldiers were falling victim not only to battle but also to a lack of reliable food. Fresh or preserved provisions were scarce, creating a desperate need for a new solution. Faced with a food preservation crisis, Napoleon's government stunned the nation in 1795 with a contest. They offered a hefty prize, 12,000 francs, or about $26,780 today, to anyone who could crack the code for a long-lasting food supply. The idea was to keep French troops fighting on distant battlefields. Enter Nicolas Appert, a jack of all trades in the culinary world, chef, pastry chef, and even winemaker. He couldn't resist Napoleon's challenge and dove headfirst into 14 years of relentless experimentation. His solution? A method now called appertization involves using heat to sterilize food in airtight containers. Appert was meticulous. He'd partially cook the food, then pack it tightly in thick, wide-mouthed glass bottles. Corks, secured with wire and sealing wax, became the stoppers. The final step? A long simmer, each bottle boiled for well over 12 hours. Appert's keen eye and tireless testing proved him right. The food remained remarkably stable, retaining both its flavor and nutritional value over long periods of time. These preserved samples became a game changer for the French Navy, transforming their meals at sea. Finally, in 1810, Appert's persistence paid off. Napoleon's minister, Count Montalivert, awarded him the coveted 12,000 francs. Appert wasted no time in putting the prize money to good use. He set up a packaging plant and wrote the first book on food preservation, introducing his groundbreaking method to the world. Appert's winning formula? He captured it all in a book called L'Art de Conservateur, which outlined the 4 key steps. First, the food went into jars. Next, the jars were carefully sealed to prevent air from getting in. Then came the heat bath, a good, long boil. Finally, the jars emerged at the perfect moment. Appert had cracked the code. He figured that the heat blasted away the microscopic culprits that caused spoilage, and the sealing of the jars kept out any new invaders. This lack of air, he believed, was the key to keeping food fresh longer. The why behind Appert's magic trick remained a mystery for over half a century. It wasn't until Louis Pasteur, famous for his work on fermentation, came along. He shattered the old idea that food just spoils. Through his research, Pasteur proved that it was tiny organisms that caused the problem. Sealing jars and bombarding them with heat stopped these microbes in their tracks, keeping food fresh longer. In his book Études sur le vin, Pasteur wasn't afraid to give credit where credit was due. He praised Appert's methods as building blocks for his own research. Today, Appert's genius lives on in the science of canning. This massive leap forward in food preservation, all sparked by a wartime need, continues to shape how we store and enjoy our food. From the battlefields of Napoleon's France to our own kitchen shelves, canned food tells a story of human ingenuity. It's a constant reminder of our drive to find answers to life's trickier questions, like keeping food fresh on long journeys or busy schedules. The story of the first canning industry begins in the early 19th century, a time of rapid industrialization and innovation. In 1810, British merchant Peter Durand patented the use of tin-coated iron cans, which led to Brian Donkin opening the first commercial canning factory in London. Donkin's factory began producing canned foods for the Royal Navy, providing a reliable food source for long voyages. The success of Donkin's canned foods in preventing scurvy and other illnesses cemented the importance of canned food for naval expeditions. Early canning involved labor-intensive processes, with each can being hand-soldered and filled, a stark contrast to modern automated methods. By the mid-1800s, the canning industry expanded, with canned meats, vegetables, and fruits becoming widely available. The American Civil War saw a significant boost in canned food production, providing soldiers with essential nutrition on the battlefield. Post-war, the commercial market for canned goods grew rapidly, with grocery stores stocking a variety of canned products for consumers. Technological advancements, such as the invention of the can opener in 1858, made canned foods more accessible and convenient. Large-scale canning factories emerged, streamlining production and reducing costs, making canned foods a staple in households. From vegetables and fruits to soups and meats, canned foods offer various options that cater to diverse culinary preferences and dietary needs. Today, canned foods are a staple in many households worldwide. Let's explore which countries consume the most canned foods and why. The United States leads in canned food consumption, with Americans consuming over 200 pounds of canned food per person annually. Convenience, long shelf life, and affordability make canned foods a popular choice in the U.S. households and food services. In Europe, countries like the UK, Germany, and France are major consumers of canned foods, particularly canned fish, vegetables, and ready-to-eat meals. European consumers appreciate the convenience and preservation of nutritional value that canned foods offer. Japan also has a high consumption rate of canned foods, especially canned fish and fruits. The busy lifestyle in urban areas drives this trend. Japanese convenience stores, known as konbini, stock a variety of canned foods that cater to the fast-paced life of city dwellers. In developing countries, canned foods are increasingly important due to their affordability and ease of transport, especially in areas with limited fresh food access. Countries in Latin America and Southeast Asia are seeing a rise in canned food consumption as part of food security strategies. While canned foods are convenient, their environmental impact cannot be overlooked. Recycling and sustainable packaging are key focus areas. Efforts to reduce the carbon footprint of canned foods include using recyclable materials and improving canning processes. Future trends indicate a rise in canned foods' popularity due to their convenience, safety, and evolving packaging technologies. Canned foods remain a versatile, reliable, and essential part of our food supply, continuing a legacy that began over 2 centuries ago. Today, the canning industry continues to thrive, driven by ongoing innovations in packaging, preservation, and sustainability. New innovations include eco-friendly packaging, organic options, and gourmet canned foods, appealing to a broader range of consumers. Ready to devour more fascinating food stories? Then like and share for your next history lesson on a plate.